This is getting deeper into so investors that we buy properties for that have they're looking for a granny flat play, and it's a strategy which is there's definitely pros and cons. It's just that just because you can build a granny flat on a property, I'd still question to go, well, just make sure it's not detracting from the main residence.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little tip and trick, and the easiest way around that.
What do you mean by detracting?
So
the main residence,
if you've got a nice house and then you're putting a side road down the back of the house and then removing the backyard, so that nice house, the main residence, is actually, it detracts its value because now you've got a car and other people living behind you, so it's a bit more high density. It doesn't detract it too much, but if you do it properly with fences and everything, it's hard to really know. It's kind of just like a neighbour.
Yeah. It
depends on the area you're in. If the area you're in is not the most built out location, and you're the only one with a neighbour 5 meters from you, it can detract it.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to sort of focus for granny flats is corner blocks, because you've got that separate access point.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Absolutely.
And then it's just the whole idea is to sort of make the granny flat look like it's not a granny flat, and that it doesn't hinder the main residence. When I was valuing property, people would be doing those granny flats at the back of the property, and you'd literally have to walk past the main residence. You're looking through their windows, and even when you're building these granny flats, sometimes you need, if a car's going down there, council might require you to have a certain grade of glazing or glassing to get that approval through, just in the event that if something flicks out and smashes a window. Look into that with your town planner as well, or your granny flat builder. They'll be able to give you more information. But once again, I'm here to give you questions to be asking to these people, because you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't. And it's a fascinating one to think about. I thought about, and it's not even a granny flat, but when I bought my WA property, you could add value to this if you put a shed in it, and you probably increase your rent. And I did a feasibility on the shed on how much it would cost to put a slab down and then put a shed on, and it just wasn't going to be worth it for how long I thought I was going to rent the property out with what extra rent I would have got for it. So at times for you guys, sometimes it's going to be worth a granny flat, sometimes it's not. What's the overall sort of conclusion for Shaylee? Is she going to...
I'm still thinking about it. I just pointed to, once again, as always, talk to your accountant. But there's definitely that capital gains tax side of things. Mm. But if you're going in a different route, student accommodation can be an exemption for granny flats. Mm. So you can say this is going to the juicy bits. Is rent it out to a student. The commentary around that is that the students are only paying the cost to run the property, so electricity, water. I'd like to know if they can pay the interest on it as well. Is that,
Well, I mean, it depends on how you set up the agreement with the student. Maybe there's, maybe the market rent is $300 and it costs $150 to run the property. They pay you $150 on the books, and then, $150
doing tasks around the house, doing the lawns, So that's the thinking outside the box, going, well, how can this work for you? But I guess the whole thing is also just making sure that you're covered from an insurance event, because I know people don't think things don't happen, but they do, and it can send you bankrupt if you say someone breaks their neck and then they are paraplegic and no insurance company covers you. That person, they're financially ruined as well, because they don't have that ability to earn that income. Mm-hmm. They're within their rights to go and take you for a couple $100,000. So just keep that in the back of your head.
All great investors don't buy an opportunity alone. They buy based on understanding the risks and seeing if they're comfortable with those risks before they go and invest.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the main points I wanted to try and help people understand.
I think we crushed it, to be honest. I think it was a really good pod.
Informative, but timely, because a lot of people are thinking about that, and it's a great way to do it. Just understand that there's costs involved. You can't, in anything with the government, they're always going to have their hand out, right? Like it's just that's the way it is. We do live in one of the best places in the world, so at least we can have solace in the fact that our money does do something.
It does go in the community. Decent infrastructure for sure.
But yeah, there's the pros and cons. If you were like in my mind, I was like sort of running it through my head. I'm like, well, you'd want to understand if you're definitely going to go the granny flat path. Well, maybe not building the biggest granny flat possible because that's going to increase that capital gains tax component.
The lands, the dwelling size or the internal space.
Yeah, and from a renting perspective, you're going to get a higher rent rate for the cost on, like, say, a 1-bedroom as opposed to a 2-bedroom initially. So it might be $300 for a 1-bedroom, $400 for a 2-bedroom. Just depends on your market, right? But then if you get that bigger, say it's 100 square meters, and your principal place, your main dwelling is 200, then it's no longer 1/5; it's now 1/3. So it's like, well, that's that on $500,000. It starts to go from $25,000 to $75,000. So it's like, well, that's a bit of a game changer too. So yeah, just run the figures, understand your situation, and as always, propertypals.au/coaching.
Yep.
Or hit us up on email, hello@propertypals.au, ask some questions or leave some comments below, and yeah, we're here to answer all the fun questions, and hopefully this gives you some insight into I guess the world of granny flats.
See ya.
Thumbs up. There's a little, hey, that's cool.
See you guys.
See you next time.